We are rolling.
So I can be looking at you and I don't gotta worry about that.
Yeah. You got one over there, one over there.
The sound on? I don't see nothing on this screen.
I turned that off.
Oh, all right, that's made me nervous, you heard? So we rolling. Yo. We live in Music Box Studio.
Yes, sir.
Benjamin's Room podcast episode, what, 14?
14.
God,
you on it now, bitch.
I guess that shit, son. I swear to God, I did.
Every week.
Here with a very special guest. I don't never see my guest's name, you heard me? This guest right here, this should be a good one, you heard me?
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself, bro.
My name, first of all, I want to tell you thank you for, interviewing me and, asking me to come on as a guest. And this is a nice studio we into and all. I always watch your stuff. Been knowing about you or whatever from off Instagram and all over the Benjamin Room. You keep up with definitely a lot of stuff with the crime and statistics. You always stay on top of it, and a lot of other stuff and all. There's a lot of stuff. So I'm just glad to be on here. But my name GDP Speaks. Some people call me GDP. Some people call me GD. But I'm glad to be in Benjamin's Room podcast.
Man,
pleasure to have you, my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Benjamin KP, GDP, this about to be
shout out KP
a
too,
fucking, man. I ain't even give my fucking...
It's all good, man. They know what nigga is now.
In the hole. Look, I wanted to ask you this first thing. Where you get your name from? And I want to know where you get your name from. Mm-hmm. Not just the GDP, but why the GDP speaks.
Okay.
I have some conflict with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the name GDP comes from my real name Gregory, my last name Earls, so G and the E. My sister nicknamed Dee, so GEEDY. The P come from because I always liked it, Master P and P Diddy. And my cousins used to be telling me, man, you got the glasses on this day, you smell like P and other, so they went to saying GDP like Master P or whatever and stuff like that.
That's it. Little still.
Yeah. And then the Speaks part come when I was on Instagram, and I used to this my probably third Instagram I'm on, or probably fourth, because I didn't got my stuff deleted every time I keep building them. But when I used to be doing the hashtag, but then it was like GDP Speaks whatever, because I was always saying my opinions about certain things and pop culture and all that, and I was just doing that. I didn't even think it was blogging at the time. This before I was even getting posted on Say Cheese. So when I did get my other page deleted, which it was just GD_P, when I was talking to Jarrison at Rap at the 7 War, he's like, man, you need to make an Instagram, whatever, and just make it, GDP Speaks or whatever. And I just did that. So I just made GDP Speaks. It's like I'm saying shit, I'm speaking on the internet. So that's kind of how I got it when I went to doing more to talking on Instagram. But
we both was in media, and my original Instagram name was Benjamin Speaks.
Oh, I never knew that.
And so
it was.
Yeah, so when my shit got deleted, I'm looking around like, where the fuck did GDP Speaks come from? But then I wasn't on the toxic shit. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, think about the original time I heard the Speaks was on, I think Nation of Islam was using.
Okay.
And I think it was the name of the newspaper was Muhammad Speaks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking that people of like minds, right?
Right.
When you say you speak, you use your voice.
Right.
That's something that's gonna always be universal. So anybody that's thinking on that universal mind frame will always end up running into a time where they want to speak behind their name. Because it's a real thing. You use your voice for the
got
culture.
something to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Then a lot of people always be saying they're a big speaker. And my partner out of Kenner, Jigga, used to be saying out Susan Polk, he'd be like, man, you're a big speaker, So it just went all together and stuff like that. So yeah, like you said, Muhammad and then that, and it just made sense, whatever. So, but I didn't know that yours was that too, whatever.
But it's funny,
it's ironic,
funny. And then you got B Speaks. You dig? Who is she an influencer, and she speak a lot on social issues and stuff like that.
Right.
And so in that walk a lot, in that whole media, how did you end up getting in the media?
Well, how I got into it, that's a good question. Like I said, when I was on Instagram at first, I used to just be talking about, how New Orleans have the influence from Haiti and the Haitians coming here after the Haitian Revolution. I might speak about, Rockefeller and Master P deals. I might be talking about, posting stuff about Superbad or Young and just talking about music in New Orleans and stuff. So I just was doing it. And one time on Say Cheese, he had a post. He was like, he had the top 10 cities of the hardest markets to blow up in. And he had the number one city before, he had a couple of days before that. And Baton Rouge was the number one popping city at that time, and New Orleans was the number one hardest city. He felt like people could pull up, and he was like, "Why you feel like New Orleans number one?" And he asked everybody when he posted, and I had made a post saying why I felt like it was. I was like, I felt like at that time we had lost our originality. Everybody was trying to sound like Chicago and Philly, and I was like, it was hurting us and stuff like that. To that, I was speaking about, and Sean wound up posting on Say Cheese, and then I said something about Atlanta, and then he posted that. Then I said something about something else, and he posted it with Chicago, and I just kept getting posted it, and then that's what made me start saying, well, damn, people really like what I'm saying. I started paying attention to his page, like how he be posting and stuff and putting the collage together, and I started tweeting him on Twitter because he always be on Twitter, so I tweet his name in the post, and he'll wind up posting me, and I'm like, damn, this shit really working. So that's what kind of made me start doing it, and I started seeing he was doing interviews, and then people started interviewing me, and that's kind of how it happened, because before that, I was doing the music management and I never thought I'd be doing podcasts or interviews and interviewing people. I never thought I'd be doing it. That's the whole nother thing.
Take me back to the first time you ever heard. Take me back to the first time you ever heard BTY Youngin.
The first time I ever heard BTY Youngin, Desmond Jerome. The first time I heard Youngin, I heard him on Cocky and Confident, Juvenile album. And I heard him, on that thing, I see, when he was rapping or whatever. And I was like, damn. And then I had met him at S80 Studio, because S80 made that beat. Don't think I just spit that shit. What I'm about to do, you might say a nigga wrong. 80 made that beat.
That's one of my favorite albums by Juvie, too, that Cocky and Confident.
Yeah, I think that came on 09.
Yeah, I was in Shreveport. That shit hit different.
Yeah, Ratchet
that
City.
The video is black and white, and it flashed the colors.
Yeah. He got his partners on there and stuff like that, Smash Brothers and all that on there, and his cousins and stuff like that. But yeah, that video right there, when I heard that song, that was another one that blew me away. And so the first time, like I said, I heard him was on Cocky and Confident. The first time I met him was at S80 Studio, and they was playing that Don't Think I Just Spit That Shit. I'm like, oh damn, 80 made that beat, and he jumped on the Youngest Ones CD at that time. I think it was a song called Lean on Me, and I think it's a song called I'm in This Thing. And I heard him, I'm like, damn, he had on Timberlands. I'm like, damn, this nigga look like DMX, bald head, Timberlands, and shit like that. And he was raw. And his punchlines was crazy. So I was like, damn. But at first I just thought, oh man, he could just talk about it just spinning and rider type shit. But when I heard songs like Fill a Nigga Out, I Love You Mama, I was like, this dude really was different. So that was like the first time I met him when he came to the studio, and the first time I heard him was on Juvie, Cocky and Confident. And I knew he was like one of those ones because it gave me goosebumps when I heard it.
Me too, bro. Like my first time hearing him, I was in the studio and they put on a video, that video,
right,
that song, and I stopped what I was doing. I'm like, who that is? They said he in jail.
Right.
I said, I gotta find his people. I
right.
started hitting up all his people. I ended up realizing me and Nice Guns, that's my dog.
Right.
I didn't know they had a relationship.
Yeah, I was managing Nice too. Yeah.
Me and Nice, that's my little nigga. You
right.
Like, hold on, that's your people. Like, so when he got out of jail, I was like, man, lock me in with dude. Like, I'll do anything to help his career. Like, pass out flyers, whatever it is, just to help the kid, because, like, the kid is fucking serious.
You saw it too.
I stopped rapping. Like, I was rapping at the time.
Right.
When I heard BTY Youngin. I stopped rapping. I stopped rapping for the simple fact it didn't make no sense.
Damn.
Like, I'm like, if these kids come in like this, I'm in the way.
Right.
You're like, I need to be pushing these kids.
Right.
Because I'm really in the way. I'm in their way because I'm not coming like this.
That nigga was
and that's how I got on to son, because you was pushing them so hard.
And all my children, all the music,
right,
everything he did.
And see, that's crazy. Like I said, Nice, my dog. And when how I introduced Nice and Youngin together, that's crazy that you say, Nice daddy doing life in Angola with my daddy. So Nice daddy in Angola and Nice dad at the St. Thomas, my brother in Angola. So that was another thing that made me and Nice tighter too, but we was working in French Quarter at the time.
Right.
And I started working with Youngin, but Youngin ain't know Nice, because Young out P-Town and Nice out the Leavenworth.
Right.
So he didn't really know him or whatever, but he knew Nice was around me a lot, and I was working with Nice and stuff like that. This at the time. After I kind of started working with my cousin at 0 to 60 at that time. And I'm doing the stuff with Nice, whatever, and stuff like that. So Youngin keep hearing this dude Nice around me. So Youngin must have asked dudes in jail about Nice or whatever from out the 11th ward or whatever, out the 10th ward, whatever, and they went to saying, Nice, cool, whatever. So they got jammed up on the phone and they became tight, and that's how they got tight. So when Youngin was in jail in Paris, and even when he went up to Winfield, I was getting his CDs made, his brother Sputter helped out his brother Joan, his cousins like G and E and all them and Worley and Nice and stuff like that. And, Styles and them was giving out stuff too, whatever, out to Fisher. And I had let Styles record his first mixtape over there by me too. Wow. His first solo mixtape, Industry Ready, the first one, he did it over there. Even before his partner Goonie got killed, they was over there because they had to get the album release stuff done, and they had to mix everything by my house in Ninewell Cross Canal. So like I said, Youngin and Nice went to fuck around like that, and that's why they did Heaven to Hell. And Youngin was on Nice first mixtape, Triggers Ain't Got No Hearts. He rapping on the phone from jail when Youngin said the barrel on a gun narrow like the old Huey P. Youngin said that on the phone when he was rapping on the phone from jail. So, like I said, we went to getting those CDs out there. I put it on that Piff because at the time that Piff was really popular. Mm-hmm. And Youngin had 10,000 downloads by the time he came home in 2014, right before his birthday. His birthday was December 12th. He already had like 10,000 downloads. That's about the same amount of CDs boosted for my thugs at Youngin to the Camp. So I was like, damn, this many people downloaded it, and then we got this many in the streets. His hype was built up even more. So, it was just popping when he came home. But he was fire. Mm-hmm. And Nice was too. Nice still is. How I be telling Nice put some more shit out.
Dog, like how? Because all these people you name, right? These people they're real polarizing figures. Mm-hmm. Within the hip hop, the streets of hip hop, and the streets, right? How hard is it to juggle? Like dealing with street artists so often, because I talk to a lot of people that deal with a lot of street artists, right. And a lot of times they get tired of it because the streets come with it.
They're too close.
Right. I'm gonna say this, and I never said this story before. One time I had a Youngin CD, and I was in the East by the gas station, and I was everywhere else I see people, I give them CDs. I'm by the barbershop, give them CDs. I gave them to everybody at work. But one time this dude was like, man, I ain't no fan, I don't want a CD. He went up to jail or whatever and stuff like that or whatever. He and such. Nah, I'm like, yeah. And I'm wondering why he didn't want a CD, but he knew a lot about him. And he just said that and he just walked off. So like you said, some people don't like you. And Young used to tell me, G, everybody not a fan, I my rhymes is real. So everybody not gonna be a fan. You got to be careful. So when you is working with street artists, it is kind of hard sometimes. Like you say, a lot of times people might not like you, and you just probably be a fan of the music as an executive. But a lot of people that's into street stuff and making street kind of music, they everybody not gonna like them. Some people like Young Boy, some people might not. Some people might like the Tupac. Some people might not like Tupac. Some people might have liked Jay-Z, Master P. Some people. So it's always gonna be like that or whatever. So, but I still kept on doing it because I still liked his music and I was just a fan and I just thought it was dope and I was like, it gotta get out there.
I think New Orleans, even being as raw as New Orleans is, I think for some reason, and I can't really put my finger on why, we respect the art being separate from the artist a lot of times. Sometimes the artist is held accountable.
Right.
Because we come from a city where we had the partners in crime and UNLV, right? Whether they say they old or not, they say it wasn't real, right, or whatever. People who I knew at the time said it was up,
right.
Like, so, however you want to take that story, you had the partners in crime in UNLV. Well, they both uptown, you dig, and they saying a lot of shit that's like
inflammatory shit, yeah.
Even UNLV would drag them to the river, and I cut them dreads out your head, and
dump in Chuck Yard, yeah.
Like all this,
we grew up on it.
And we played that. Like we played it in different areas of the city, and people respected it, and but at the same time, how that parallel you think lie in this city. Well, we could have an art that can get so personal, right? The home of drill music. You did this the home of drill music. So how can that separation lie?
Hold on, you said the home. You said we the home of drill music?
Yeah, he said BG started it.
Well, I mean, I know BG said if you're gonna drill me or whatever. I mean, he said that, but I know Chicago gonna be pissed off at that one or whatever. But that's a fact though. But I mean, he was saying somebody getting drilled with somebody getting killed. But
in his songs,
he said in a lot of songs too.
Like not just saying drill, the whole concept of
what drill music is.
I'm talking about you.
Yeah,
he died.
Right. The bullets raining out in the city.
Yeah.
The choppers bullets raining down.
You heard me? Like
yeah, it was just called gangster music, but
I mean, BG was doing. I mean, and Spice One was talking about shit like that too in the beat, talking about killing niggas. The triggers got no heart, and the jealous got me strapped. You know, so Spice One influenced them too. That's why Soulja Slim made that 2003 Murder Show that MC and Spice made. So I feel like a lot of them was influenced by stuff. I do feel like Chicago was influenced by New Orleans. I'm going to give them that drill stuff because they, you know, but I do feel like BG did influence a lot of that stuff, and I do feel like the slanging iron and talking that shit when he was young.
Well,
BG
Cash Money influenced all them niggas.
Yeah, Detroit, they did. They did.
And this is why I'm about to show you a direct line of BG himself being the
all this
creator.
BG saying stepping on niggas.
The creator, and it's really because the influence of what the Hot Boys
of course, yeah.
And when the hurricane hit, I always bring this up in every podcast. When the hurricane hit, that influx of all that fucking uptown bravado, when uptown people go somewhere, dog, the world changed. Like when all them uptown people come to the east changed. All them uptown people came across the river changed. Like they
Atlanta,
bring a certain,
Houston, so far.
They bring New Orleans people themselves bring a certain type of magic within their own personalities. Right. When you start getting deep into the families that never left, and you start looking in Algiers and Uptown and 6 Wall, 7 Wall, deep in that 9, the families that didn't leave, you start to see real magical people with real magical personalities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they've been sticking close to their roots. They ain't never left.
Right.
They done survive hurricanes. They know how to survive hurricanes. They know when to leave. They know when to stay. Like, they just special. That's why a lot of white people look at us like we magical as black people.
Right.
But in New Orleans, and you get those epicenters where them energy centers on the map, where you have these different people that's just special. When you talk uptown and we talk about the port and the tent wall, which the port is almost like a battery pack to all of that, because all of the ghettos in America don't have a port. But when you look at the ones who do, they even more special. And for some reason, everybody want to come to this little bit ass fucking city. Right. You got all these cities with all this good shit going on. Why the fuck this is like a #1 tourist attraction since forever? Right. You know what I'm saying? Because of the energy of the people here. We know how to serve you. Right. We gonna rub your back. We gonna make you feel good. We might kick you in the ass later.
Now, what I would say, I know, like you said, I know you from uptown. I know you from uptown too.
I'm from across the river.
Oh, you from across the river? All right. Oh, you from Railroad.
Yeah.
My dad from uptown, so I still got love from uptown. My grandma and them, but I just can't say everything came from uptown. I do feel like just like Treme, jazz, a lot of that stuff back of town. The original first area where black people was living at was in Treme, the original back of town. Jazz and all that stuff really come from there. So that was the first popular music that changed America and made us the heart and soul of the United States, whatever. But like I said, Uptown definitely added their flavor, because I remember before Turk was like, you know, everything Uptown, but I'm like, you still can't forget about Treme, and that's like one of the oldest communities, like Sugar Hill or like Orange Mountain, Memphis. I feel like every part of the city still give us stuff. I remember you, like you said, you being from a railroad. When I was a kid, growing up, hearing MC Thick cruising down the street, I didn't know where Morello was at, but I was singing that song like that from there. So, you know, and even by Tim Smooth and being from I guess Avondale. I might be saying it wrong with Tim Smooth.
I think from he from back there, Avondale.
I can't remember. I don't know if it's that. It might be Avondale. Yeah, I know he from Lincoln Heights or something like that. Or whatever. Yeah. Kennedy Heights. Kennedy Heights. Yeah. So I'm just saying all. Like I said, I feel like everybody still had their little swagger. Just like, you know, like I said, Cash Money bought that stunt stuff. But I remember like Soulja Slim said, you know, just because I'm from uptown, you know, you think I love stunt. He was really taking shots at like Baby and them or whatever with that or whatever. Like he was like, everybody don't stunt. Now Baby made it cool, because at one time when you was stunting, niggas like, man, this nigga bragging and talking about what he got, old stunting ass nigga. That was a bad thing. Or a Baby turned and made it a good thing. See, but at one time to be stunting was like kind of bad.
I'm gonna tell you the main difference in that argument.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you the main difference in it. I think the main difference is that when you talk about an MC Thick, right, and you talk about
Tim Smooth,
right, you talking about roots that's starting in '89, right, where you like, damn, where Morello at? Oh, Morello, you heard me? Like before that, it was crickets. You did, unless a nigga was around there selling dope. You did, like it was crickets. When you talk about uptown, you talk about Treme, right? You talk about
well, no, Treme would be downtown.
No, I'm talking about when you talk about uptown and you talk about a place like Treme.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? You talking about families that have and Algiers too. Algiers was also a
one of the oldest. Algiers Point.
You have families there that have hundreds,
generations,
thousands of years in that area. So these places that's real fucking special. Right. Like not saying the other places not special. Right. What I'm saying is when you look at media, when you look at just look at who sprouted.
From up. Areas.
You see a lot of magical shit happen uptown in them trenches. Well, you see a lot of people that just come up and just.
Well, a lot of black people, and I would say, all right, I get what you're saying, because that's just like the East. The East really didn't start getting built up to the '60s. So all those people that was living like our moms and them had to grow up, like I said, downtown, Cross River, all the other places. They couldn't stand East because the East wasn't even nothing but woods back here. Right. Until they started building
like my people grew up on Josephine and Jackson. Like my family grew up because where else you gonna be? Right, yeah. Like when they started building houses across the river, they bought them a house across the river, and that's where I grew up at. But before that, they was staying on Josephine, they was staying on Jackson. That's where all my family stayed at. Right. You dig? So like, and that's why I say sometimes the roots of these places, they give these people a special sauce. Right. And when you take a hurricane and flood all that, right? You see groups of people going to Chicago, groups of people going to Miami.
Migrating,
all these, you hearing war stories in Atlanta of New Orleans people just, just going to
bluff. People like Young Thug was saying, dudes in Atlanta, New Orleans was coming out there, and niggas was like, man, them niggas, like T.I. said, New Orleans niggas killed us somewhere and nobody paid attention on that, on that song on Paper Trail album.
But they did that in every major metropolitan area because they was
Slim
just
Thug
shipping
talked about it,
busloads of New Orleans people. And they just call them New Orleans people, right? They not knowing that we Indians.
George Bush mama said that shit.
We Indians. We all different types of tribes. You got the Tremid tribe with the fucking 17th tribe. Everybody just shipping out the city, going to different cities in America, and boom, in the middle of Chicago. Only thing I knew about Chicago was Cabrini Green. Right. That was the only thing I heard about Chicago. That was it. Outside of that, I didn't know. They had GEDs, and you heard about Hoover.
Right, Larry Hoover,
and the gangs. That was it, though. You ain't never hear
about
Oprah
Winfrey, Michael Jordan. That was like the main things in pop culture. That was it. Coming out back in the day from Chicago, right? I mean, that's what I remember too. And like you said, Good Times. Maybe Twister. For the most part, Common a little bit, but it wasn't that big like how Chicago impact is on hip hop today.
No, what happened was, that hurricane hit, Wayne controlling culture at that point. You did, and controlling gang culture. Right. You did, the main hot boy. You did, all that shit played a factor in how hip hop just turned into a fucking gangland.
Yeah, it made it cool. You saying because like people like Wayne and being affiliated.
Wayne was the main person behind that
pushing
shit.
The culture too.
Once they went blood, then everything went blood.
Being on all that hot boy shit, and you go back and you start listening to all that BG and all that shit, dog, that shit will influence a culture, dog.
Of course it did. I know that's like Detroit. Detroit influenced a lot by New Orleans with the hot boys type beats and the street lords and not probably street lords much, but I know Blade Icewood said something about how he looked up to Baby and them and shit like that too. But when you get people like even like Doughboys Cash Out, like they album covers looking like Big Timers album covers and stuff like that. So a lot of them dudes out there like Icewood Visual will tell you.
Why you think that?
Niggas didn't want to be like Diddy. They want to be like Baby.
A lot of boys, I think, to me. Because they're kind of like saying they flashy, like you said, they like Cash Money with all the stunning and doing the donuts and they get money and all that. You can see how Big Meats was, the Minks and all that shit. Detroit really flashy, so they like that flashy shit, getting money and shining shit. That's why they like the Cartiers with diamonds in it. So I feel like Detroit a little more gang banging, raw, and they beefing on wax like that. Detroit dudes talking about more getting money, flashing, showing the money and power and the influence, how flashy it is and how much money they getting.
They show you when you go to the basketball games out there.
That's why New Orleans, I feel like they connect a lot. Even though it's still the slanging nine and the gangster shit like the BG. That's why I felt like with Cash Money, they gave you so much. Fresh gave you his personality, so you get the good skits that they had and a dope-ass production. Then you get BG talking about slanging nine and Turk and all them. Then Juvie is good storytelling. And then the big timers bring that stun shit. Right. So you got, and then Juvie making these back-to-the-ass-up type songs. So you can make a bounce type song. They can make slanging nine songs. And they can make the getting get your roll on. Just like I feel like the two most important records in hip hop from New Orleans that to me identifies would be like a song like I'm Bout It, because it show the boutedness of New Orleans and the rawness of New Orleans, and then Back That Ass Up with the shaking ass, the bounce type infused record that's still timeless to this day. Them two records really, you know, was like this us. We bounce that, back that ass up, and I'm Bout It. It lets you know this New Orleans.
You think
504.
You think No Limit? What percentage of a representation would you consider No Limit as a representation in New Orleans? If you had to give them a percentage, like compared to Cash Money, who always kept their finger on the pulse of the culture?
I would probably give, if I had to do both of them and I had to split them from 100.
Right.
Shit, man, I'm probably gonna give about. I know some people might get mad, but I probably give Cash Money about 80 or 75%. And cause like you said, even though No Limit had they was representing Cali and they was representing Uptown, it was a lot of the West Coast in that. You know, even the way P used to wear his beanies a lot and all that, his khaki, his Dickie shorts, and he just looked like he had the Bay had a big influence on him, and even in the production,
it did.
You know, they infused it with Kel and them did with the bounciness, but you could hear a lot of that Manny Fresh, and even the look with the t-shirts of the Hot Boys and the beats of the Hot Boys. It was a lot, so I might give Cash Money 80%, and then Cash Money never left, so couldn't nothing really. I mean, it was influenced by what they heard, but they was here the whole time. Right. So they gumbo was getting made here. Theirs was in the Bay trying to cook it up and find it. And then it was in Baton Rouge and it did come back down. So I probably give Cash Money more to me.
Right.
That's my opinion. 75 or 80% Cash Money.
I think what you think?
I was about to go 70-30, so
yeah, I think about that too.
Because I wouldn't give it half. I don't think nobody else say
no. And I always did. I never really thought about the West Coast influence thing. I always looked at. I never looked at that.
Yeah, you really studied the game because I can see how you broke it down on you.
I always looked at the fact that C Murder was like always there. Like long as C Murder was hot, No Limit was kind of like relevant in the New Orleans way.
Right.
You did, and once you remove the C Murder element. It kind of, because C Murder was like that bridge to the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To the real New Orleans.
Right,
so Master P was looked at as like the Hollywood version of what New Orleans was.
He was all business, CB in the trenches, we see him. He really with the people every day.
Yeah, but did we really like the nigga rapping?
Who?
I don't know.
C Murder?
No. C was, I mean, that life of death was hard.
No, I said C Murder.
Life of death?
No, C Murder is the life of death.
Yeah. Pull a kick, doing all that shit.
Oh, my God. Yeah. See, C Murder was that bridge. I felt like
that's what kept him to the streets.
To the streets, you know what I'm saying? And then once C Murder was removed from the equation, I think they kind of lost their way.
Yeah, then I think Pete, what I think hurt him in the later years, because at the beginning, 97, on up or whatever, they was doing good, but I felt like once they started losing beats by the pound, that hurt the sound, because now you ain't got the same chef in the kitchen cooking up them beats or whatever, so the sound gone, and you didn't have nobody that was going to replace that sound. So even when Fresh left Cash Money, Wayne evolved into a different thing, because he was already on mixtape beats, so that was something Wayne already wanted to try, and it wound up working. Yeah. No Limit, when they lost that producers, it wasn't the same. Then Pete went to trying to chase that stunt shit like Baby and them. We roll tight whips, you know, they went to trying to do the stunt shit. Then they went to doing the bounce stuff.
Hot
with
Girl.
I don't think Pete never put artists before the label. I always bring this up as a major flaw. And I even made
talking about as a star, like trying to make somebody
because
it was all about P the whole time.
My whole documentary, Master P, the biggest picture, right? The bigger picture,
right?
I made a 3-part documentary about this because it was very important to show, like on the marketing side, the difference between a Cash Money and a No Limit, right? Both major companies, but No Limit, they never put like one particular artist before the label. Like every time an artist came to the label, it was almost like they was overshadowed by the label. Even a Mystical, even because you could hear interviews where they talk about they didn't really do concerts.
Yeah, it wasn't a No Limit thing.
Yeah, unless everybody could do the concert.
But the reason I think it was like that too, and you're right, because P did want like that. When P had him, it was a No Limit tour or nothing. Everything was No Limit Soldier songs on the album. Everything was a No Limit chain. Everything was No Limit. Big old logo on the back of the CD cover. So he was always branding that, just like Jay-Z. Jay-Z didn't want nobody to be bigger than him on Rockefeller at that time. Now he probably could take a step back and let artists be on Rock Nation, but at that time he didn't really like that when you ever said one time for Cam for taking over the Rock. You know that shit kind of
because think about it.
Jay-Z was Rockefeller. He built the label on.
But think about it. You had every good structure have a top.
Right.
Every good structure got a nice foundation.
Right.
The foundation can't be at the top. All right. The foundation's supposed to be at the bottom, and it's supposed to stay at the bottom. If the foundation shift, that's not a good foundation. If the foundation stay at the bottom so that the top and everything support each other,
right,
that's a good thing. So when you take a thing like Rockefeller, and you have a person like Jay-Z, he is the fucking star.
And Jay-Z is better than Master P as a rapper. I'm gonna make sure I get that clear. Because I know both of them at the top of their company.
But at first Jay-Z wasn't the executive. He was the star of the company.
I think he always was executive, but you're right, Dame really ran the business part. Right. So even though he was the owner in it, that wasn't his role.
But he wasn't
getting in the way.
He was the Lil Wayne. Yeah. So just like Baby, he looked at, I have this empire, but I got to get behind Shorty.
I'm not gonna get in the way of talent.
Look, I got to get behind Shorty. So once they identified Jay-Z as a MC like Shorty, that, they say, look, we got to get behind Shorty. So everybody got behind Shorty, but once they got behind Shorty and Shorty take off, Dame like, look, I could make another Shorty, because that's all I got to do is get behind him. You know what I mean? We're going to make another Shorty, but Shorty like, bitch, you still behind me. You have to still push me. So at not one point in time did Baby say, man, look, I ain't going to push Lil Wayne. Right. Like he said he put the gas on Lil Wayne, and anybody Lil Wayne touched,
But see, that's like with Wayne too, Benjamin. Like Wayne, you got Baby really always say, I'm not a rapper, I'm a gangster. He always let that be perfectly clear. Wayne from Uptown, Wayne pushing the label, and Wayne from his section. Cam from Harlem, Jay from Brooklyn. So now you got this two or whatever, because now you got this nigga saying he taking over the label, and this nigga, the real one of the owners. So that's different. But with the shit with Master P, I do think the reason why he did that because he was an artist always, and I guess he always felt like I got to stay in control of this. But you're right, that probably did hurt him in the long run because he couldn't get out his own way. And it was always about him for wise the basketball, the video games, the movies. Even right now, you see every time P turn around, he got ice cream, he got shoes, he got fucking cooking food. Everything's like he don't really focus on one thing. He always got so many things going on. It's hard to kind of just make it really good because he be all over the place. Right. But I guess that might be something that might be a gift and a curse to him. Baby was smart enough to slim him to take their hand off the world and say, even though BG gone, Juvenile gone, you know, we gonna let Wayne try things out. Because I felt like when Wayne tried it with the squad, Baby ain't really want to let him, you know, them dudes out the East. Because I remember on Rap City when Wayne was saying, I want to shout out the whole Squid Eyed and T Streets and all them. Wayne, Baby looked at Wayne like, what the fuck? And BG was like laughing, like, man, this nigga tripping. Like, he shouting them niggas out on our time and all that. But Wayne knew the squad was gonna be hot. And at that time, they bought their mixtape shit to New Orleans, like how Dipset was doing in New York, or 50 was doing in New York. Right. So he was ahead of the curve. Baby just probably didn't want him to push them because they was out the East at the time. Right. I think that's why Baby was on that straight uptown shit. But I think when Wayne and a lot of people started leaving label.
But you really think, I really think it was because he didn't have a hand in that situation.
I think Wayne
was known for going like his first artist was Cross the River.
Who you talking about? Kilo G?
Yeah.
So Kilo G was from Cross the River?
Yeah.
Well, he got killed in the summer. I never knew that. I knew he got killed in the summer. Okay. Well, see what I'm saying? I don't think it was because even Mr. Ivy was from Cross Canal. Right. But I think at the height of it, once he really went to seeing like BG, UNLV really represent that uptown shit, because Baby always stood on that. I mean, and I think that's with anybody. Like, if you from New Orleans and you living in Atlanta, you're going to still probably, if you could sign more dudes in New Orleans, you're going to try to do that, even if you putting dudes in Atlanta, because that's where you're from. Just like Coach Ken, Pete from Atlanta, he might sign a Young Greatness, or he might sign another artist, but he won't let Baby to be the flagship artist or the Migos or something like that.
See, I always looked at that squad shit. Like, I always looked at and maybe we could get Nut up in here or something to talk about this one day. Mm-hmm. I always thought the squad situation came about because you have a premier artist like Wayne, right? Mm-hmm. He's doing mixtapes with unknown artists, but that's buzzing in the street.
I was about to say that was his partner.
But
except for kids, they became
some of I know Nut and
Nut and Dizzy kind of they was in
Tragedy.
They
used to be a group. So I know I know some of them had like a buzz.
Right.
So, and I know when Wayne got to the East, they wasn't just hanging with friends. Like it was like if Wayne hung with you, you was a premier nigga. Right. Like he wasn't out here in the East just hanging with anybody.
Well, I mean, you know, Wayne stayed in Bunker Hill, and I think Wayne stayed in Mission too, and his cousin too. There, I know he went to Livingston with us. But Wayne was around there, like I said, with Fat and them and
Mario and some premier niggas, though. Like,
well, I mean, at that time, them dudes was cause Fat, you know, hung with my cousin and all.
I was at McMahon.
Yeah, they was doing.
It wasn't no anybody niggas. Like them niggas was the
some
niggas
fly,
who was
cool
buzzing.
niggas.
So at the time,
believe it or not, son, I was at McMahon and Wayne would be up there every other fucking week, just hanging.
You talking about that McMahon or in the East around Goretti?
McMahon, the school.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Just know what I'm saying?
And you know he
they
went
might
to
be
chilling
too. But the niggas who he with ain't no just anybody niggas. Like these niggas is niggas who like.
They was fly niggas. They was
like,
popular.
Yeah, they was
the
popping
girls
niggas.
Liked them.
They
like,
was popping niggas.
Yeah, girls liked Mario.
He hung with one of my little cousins.
Right.
And he was a popping nigga. I'm like, how the fuck? I'm like, all right, all them niggas, all the popping niggas.
I feel like that's why Wayne started dressing different. Because if you remember, like Wayne said, we couldn't wear no G Nikes. You know, people out of town might be hearing this that we call Air Force Ones G Nikes.
Right.
People in Harlem call them Uptown.
Right.
But anyway, Wayne was hanging with them, and Wayne won't wear jerseys and this and that. You know, Baby was just like we wearing T-shirts, Bows, and Reeboks and Soldier Rat. Wayne went to wearing the throwback jerseys and wearing Iceberg and all that shit like that, being around his friends from the East. So a lot of that flyness come from being around them dudes around the park in the East, whatever, because they was buying all that shit because they was fashion forward.
Right.
And that started coming into Wayne music and even the mixtapes saying we're going to rap off other people's beats. Because if you listen to all Soulja Slim stuff before he died, Slim never rapped off nobody else's beat. Like, unless it was a real producer, I never heard Slim rap off like a mixtape beat.
Right.
Wayne was the first I heard do it. Then I started hearing like Lil Derek and at the time Chaotic was doing it. But I know the Squad was doing that shit and popularized it here. So Baby didn't really get all the way behind it.
Waiting on the next Squad.
Yeah, because even...
Well, put yourself in Baby's shoes, dude. Real shit. Just for instance, put yourself in Baby's shoes where you have an artist, like I said, a premier artist that's doing records with unknown artists, right? And you getting these niggas so fucking hot, right? And most of like the niggas that these niggas fucking with got enough money for you to not go back home. You know what I'm saying? And your contracts are up in you know what I'm saying, up in renewal and shit.
Right.
You dig? So you looking at it like, look, I just lost 3 other hot boys. You dig? I'm investing everything into you, and now you shouting out these niggas and making them hot, and they ain't never signed no contract yet with Cash Money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that shit is not Cash Money stamped.
Right.
All that shit was just independent music. You gotta go. You can't even really pull it up on Apple Music. You gotta hear it on these
YouTube
different
and all
platforms
YouTube,
because it's not official Cash Money music.
Right.
It's street music. So, you know, you Baby, and these niggas ain't signed a contract. I even heard that the Carter one was made with them on it.
Right.
And they took them off.
Right, because they wasn't signed.
Because they ain't signed.
Right.
So why make them hot? That's why they looking at it. They like, man, you falling for the banana in the tailpipe because you and endeavored and just like he thought that shit went up in flames.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think that like you're right, Baby as a businessman protecting his interest. They ain't signing me, so I ain't about to give him no free clout, no free juice. Wayne looking at it like, you know how all these other rappers right now, they got their little crews and how Dirk got his crews, a young boy,
at the business side.
Kodak Gat. So he looking at, I'm about to make my homeboys hot or whatever, and I might be trying to build my own thing later or whatever, because I want my own thing, but Baby wanted him to be an artist forever. So it wasn't that time. God had a later plan for him when he was going to do the stuff with Nicki, and Drake was going to be even bigger, but you could see Wayne already was on to something even then. That's why I said it's good that Baby finally did let the wheel go and say, well, let's Wayne get behind the wheel and let's see what Wayne take us with these mixtapes, or what he trying to give all this free music away, or this whole new look, what he doing, dressing more like a rock star dude. Let's see what he do, whatever. Because at first, Baby really wasn't going to go that. But then at one time, Baby never took his shirt off. Wayne made Baby start taking his shirt off on magazine covers. He getting tatted all up. So that young stuff that Wayne was doing started to rub off on Baby, because he started to see
This shit
this
work.
shit really working. But I
Right.
feel like Wayne was gonna do it with the squad back then too, because I feel like they was on to something. And the same way Dipset did what they did when Dane got behind him and helped Cam get to that next level. I feel like if Wayne was able to do them, then ain't no telling how big the squad would have been. Like the St. Lunatics, they were
Facts.
big because Nelly got in position and then he put them on, and look how big the St. Lunatics became. We'll never know because it didn't get a chance to happen. But we see what Wayne did do later with Nick and Drake.
I think Baby
All facts.
reputation at the time, because his reputation it been up and down in time.
Right.
At time it been like the waves of time.
Right.
He just
Sometimes
sailed
the
them
good
all
guy,
out.
sometimes the
And
bad
he ain't
guy,
never
yeah.
wipe out.
Right.
He always sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad.
Yeah.
So at the time, they had started running the campaign that Baby was stealing the money. And
Right,
then you
right,
just
right,
lost
right.
3 hot boys and
Right.
saying they didn't get their money.
Like on some
Then
Suge
now
Knight
you got
shit, yeah.
these
But
young
that was in
niggas-
2003?
Huh?
That was around that 2003?
No, that was right before that.
Mm-hmm.
That was right before that.
Around the Carter time, huh?
Yeah. No, like, because you got to think about when they left, Carter came out.
Well, no, you right. It's around Lights Out and all that. 'cause
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when,
yeah, 'cause-
Well, probably not Lights Out. I mean 500. I mean 500.
500.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
when everybody left.
Yeah.
And but right before they left, the local rappers was making songs about them not getting paid. Like they had like the dudes like the Wet Boys and
Yeah.
all these different diss songs was coming out about the hot boys not getting paid.
Right.
And
Bad
then
business.
artists started leaving for not getting paid. And at that time,
Yeah, you're
now
right.
Wayne coming back to New Orleans where everybody talking about Baby not paying nobody, asking these hot artists that you making hot, come on, sign the Baby.
Right.
And they like, nah, nigga,
like
like
BG
we
said,
hot,
it's-
like we could sell this shit ourselves.
Yeah,
Like we selling 10,000 out
Yeah.
the trunk just like y'all used to do. Why we gotta sign to him?
Yeah, just like BG made that song. Jeezy, is you going back? Man, Juvenile, that's my dog, but I ain't rocking like that.
Right.
You know, so he making songs like that. Juvenile already taking shots at Baby at the time. So like you said,
Yeah.
it was a lot of chinks in the armor. It wasn't looking good
Right.
or whatever. But Wayne reinvented himself, and that Carter and everything he morphed into was different. But at that time, right, people was kind of iffy about Baby business practices. But like I said, Wayne being so loyal to that dollar sign, Cash Money logo, he stood and flew that flagship. I mean, he was that he flew the flag for that company and took him to this next era with that YMCMB shit and reintroduced it
Where
to a
people
whole
were
new
selling
generation.
soul to
Yeah.
sign the Cash Money within this block of years.
Just to
Right.
be
He
around
went
that
from
uptown nigga.
Nobody will ever sign to
Yeah.
you. You did, except the artist that's stuck on your label.
Mm-hmm.
To, oh my God, please sign me. I'll give you my soul.
Right.
You heard people tatting Rich Gang on their face that's not even signed
Right.
yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how
Like-
powerful Cash Money is. That's how
It was
powerful.
anything to be by Wayne,
Yeah,
bro.
it's powerful, dog. Like that label and how long it was able to go on. But like I said, you got to give a lot of credit to Wayne too, because like you said, when you look at the Rockefellers, the Murder Incs, the Death Rows, the Rap-A-Lots,
It didn't
Rough
go that
Riders, a
long.
lot of them, they ain't been able to go that long. You know, So Deaths, as long as Birdman was able to go on all them generations and still be so impactful, from the Hot Boys to Wayne, Carter Run to even Nicki and Drake or whatever. So it's all in there.
And
So
he
you got
still got his hands on different ones popping
everybody
right now.
want diamonds in their mouth. You know, not that Texas wasn't doing it too, but I'm talking about like when you look at Wayne doing it, tattoos all in their face. A lot of them do it. It's cooler now. You know, at one time you seen dudes in jail did that coming from prison, but Wayne and Baby popularized that shit. Now all the rappers got tattoos in their face. Wayne got them trying different things. Andre was doing that 3002, but Wayne trying these different looks, dressing. You know, when people like, oh, that's weird, you're doing too much.
Then had
But
all the
he
niggas
make
out
it
here
acceptable.
skateboarding out here.
Now it's like everybody doing
And
it.
then
So it's
everybody
DNA
started
and
eating
everything. The Hot
pussy.
Boy-
He don't think that
Whatever
Uptown
he
shit
said,
got something to do
whatever
with
he
it.
said was
I
law.
mean, definitely from Uptown, so I would give a lot of
Hey,
credit to them.
because
Yeah.
one thing I can say, when Uptown niggas said Reeboks was popular, guess what? Reeboks was popular. When them
But
niggas
everybody
said
Uptown
Reeboks
wasn't
wasn't,
Yeah.
bitch,
But-
catch it with some fucking
But see,
Reeboks.
the whole Uptown wasn't wearing Reeboks at one
Right.
time. 'Cause
No,
they might
but
have
they
dudes
were
out
still
some wars.
popular.
Oh, they
They were
definitely
still popular. That's what I'm saying,
but
like-
I had
like-
soldiers.
But
That's
then-
what I'm saying. They
But
were
then one
popular.
year, you got
But
your
see, and I
ass
think
tore
that's
up.
because, like you said, they didn't want to give Cash Money that deal, and they gave Jay-Z the deal, Reebok, and they
Right.
gave 50 the deal that was fucked up, that was a slap in the face, and
Facts.
then they didn't do nothing for Soulja Slim and all that like they should have at that time.
Right.
So that's why I feel like if they would have did that, Soulja Box, Reebok still be popular, because you still see Kodak and them still
Right.
said, you still hear Spot 'em got some in my Reeboks on that
Right.
song. So a lot of them still wear Reeboks to this day.
Right.
We don't really fuck with them because of that. But
Certain
it
ones
just show
they-
you how powerful New Orleans was to make a shoe powerful. Like when Juvenile said,
Like them
niggas
Sean
wearing
Kemp
Reeboks instead
Reeboks,
of Nikes
them
and
Sean Kemp
Timberlands.
Reeboks will always be like. the
That's a
ones
fire
with the
shoe.
Little fucking
Oh,
circle.
yeah.
Them
Uh-huh.
bitches gonna always. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I said when Juve said that on 400 Degrees, niggas wearing Reeboks instead of Nikes and Timberlands.
Right.
Like it was just it was just like, damn, you know, he was just letting them know like, this what we do. And I feel like that's why New Orleans was so influential, where you could say, we wearing this, and then everybody started doing it. We wearing soldier rags, everybody want to be a soldier. And you're right, those dudes are from Uptown, and Tyler Perry from Uptown, and like I said, Master P from Uptown, and Birdman from Uptown, and Wayne. So you got to give them their flowers, that's where they from. Just like South Memphis got a lot of popular artists that come out that area or whatever, North Memphis and all that. But you know, they got some popular artists that came from downtown and rap, but not to the extent of Cash Money, No Limit. So yeah, if you
because
looking
I
at
never
like that,
seen that label come from the which puzzled me.
Yeah,
because like with all the talent downtown, all the black-owned businesses, all the same elements that you have uptown, why you have like a No Limit and Cash Money, boom boom, and then you have like crickets when you talk about the major label downtown.
I think some of the dudes that probably was having labels, because they had a lot of labels back then too. Some of them probably with the Feds.
Right.
Some of them dudes that probably, you know, because they had some hot music out there. I just think that Babe and them had all the right ingredients, and they were smart, and it was just perfect for them, because like you said, they at one time Across the River was dominating.
Right.
And then Uptown, all they started doing, they was doing
you
the
even
bounce.
seen Mobile Joe from Cross the River.
Yeah, that was a hard label too. They had a lot of stuff. Yeah.
But then when you talk downtown, it was like kind of like you had. You
had Slaughterhouse, you had Tombstone, you had a lot of labels, but like I said, none of them wasn't hard like Cash Money was in the city. Besides Big Boy, you know, and Chuck really originally from California and all that and stuff like that. But I know he fuck with Uptown a lot too. You know, so I think the 17
Take 4 records. Right there.
Take four in the 10th wall. So
still
bounce music, and they catered into that. So like I said, and then at that time, whatever, when rap music was really, really popping, a lot of those projects had a lot of money coming out of it.
You said too, the Feds hit downtown first.
Oh, yeah, because you got to think about it. Look how much money was being made in Desire and how hard them niggas is out that project.
Right.
So I know they had a lot of war stories and a lot of good music that could have been out, but like I said, Baby and them just got lucky. You know, just like some people in Atlanta, they probably had a lot of people that had record labels in Atlanta, but none of them wasn't able to break through like, you know, like T.I. and them, or Lil Jon, or Jermaine Dupri and all that. It's just the circumstances and just the perfect storm.
Right.
Just so happened they happened to be from Uptown, and that's just what it is, whatever. So yeah, you got to give it to Uptown, because Cash Money No Limit come from there, and they influenced the world. Tyler Perry from there, even though, you know, he don't be out here a lot, but he happened to be from Uptown too. He went to Edgar P. Hearn, he went to Woodson and Cohen, so.
I don't think the Ninth Wall get a real fair shake. When you talk about New Orleans, like, the Ninth Wall give us so much.
I don't know, they should. The Ninth Wall go hard.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they get the credit they deserve a lot of times, because I remember at one point in time in the 90s, everybody want to be from the Ninth Wall.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And they gave us so much culturally. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see a lot of people give them their flowers, and the way that they shaking back right now. You don't see a lot of light get shined on a lot of the artists that's coming.
I just think
downtown.
that's because downtown.
Coming from the Ninth Wall.
Right, I mean, like you said,
like
with
your Max
Magic
Paynes and your Teezies. And
well, Rod 49 doing a good job of, because, you know, he represented Desire. Just piggybacking off that or whatever, the 4 Wall and the 9 Wall. So I feel like he gonna make sure that the 9 Wall get the story.
And I think
out there,
that's why he gets so much love, because they know what they deserve.
Well, you gotta,
and they like, we finally getting some fucking love.
Not that Magic wasn't doing it, and like I said, Kid always represented the 9 Wall.
Right.
But by Rob getting his chance right now, and it being really him being the biggest at the time.
Used to sometimes sound like the lonely voice in the room. Used to be like, man, like, used to feel good when you hear him, because you know he about to give you that 9 Wall shit.
Right.
But he gonna hold it down. But he used to just feel like the lonely kid in the room.
But that's why I say all those people set Rod 49 up being from downtown for a moment like this too. Because when you look at Magic to Kid to even Rod 49, look at, you know, Boosie to Lil Fat to Young Boy. It's all about somebody coming and keep going or whatever. Joe Louis, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali to Floyd Mayweather.
Who you see coming from this out of GDP? Who you see coming out of this Rifle 9 like line? Do you see an older artist like a Styles find like gaining traction from it, or do you see like a newer face?
I feel like Styles can rap his ass off, so he gonna get in there and do his thing regardless, whatever. So I know he coming. And it's gonna be some young artists coming. I feel like with Rob bringing the light and making people excited about New Orleans music and
Right.
artists again, that's going to make everybody keep their eyes in. And hopefully, like I said, he keep doing records with other artists, and that's going to keep pulling them up because that's what Detroit do. They keep trying to do records with one another, and they keep trying to keep that shit going. Because once you get the shit going, you got to keep it going. And that's what Atlanta was able to do because everybody fuck with
And
everybody.
still
2
doing.
Chainz, Young Thug, and this one and that one and all that, baby. Everybody fucking with each other. All the producers working together. It's gonna stay in. It's gonna stay in there. So I feel like back to the Night War shit. I think that the Night War definitely deserve it because it's a big ward. It got a lot of history. It got a lot of culture. And I feel like you said, right now, like Birdman said, he passing the torch. He said that on his album, that it's his time and it's downtown time. I never heard him say it like that. So when I heard Baby even say from uptown to downtown, that was letting them know that I passed the torch. You deserve it. You earned it. It's y'all time now. So I feel like everybody got their time, and I feel like definitely, August Alsina did a good job being from the Night War.
Definitely.
Even though he was a singer, I feel like he represented the Night War right. He represented Kenna too, and so I feel like all that shit love, man. Just like, Chop being from where you from, being from Marrero or whatever. We still love that record. The Saints ran with that song. So I feel like it's all 504 and it's all love to me. I fuck with all of them from everywhere, even though, I grew up between the East and downtown. All my family on my dad's side from uptown. So I got love for all of it because all these places had culture and we always influenced by it in some form or fashion, from this city to even the whole world being influenced by it. So,
but I know one thing that the music is so territorial. And I think that's the job of like media outlets like ours.
Right.
With the music being so territorial, you could come on my page and you could see 2 artists on my page that you'll never see on a page.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't necessarily deal with each other for whatever reason. But but by us being media outlets, we could kind of merge the culture and make it make sense.
Right.
So like one artist that was always a confusion for me was Max Payne. Max P. From the Night War. Like music, nice. He always making music.
Right.
He never really stopped. Videos, everything. And you don't really see a lot of the, like, I remember when he first came home, he had a lot of buzz.
Right.
But you think a lot of these artists that have great content that's not getting the kind of like the buzz that the they're not getting the buzz that they might feel like they deserve.
Right.
Do you think it's more like a marketing thing, or you think how could you explain that?
I don't know. Like when I listen to Max do have more of an East Coast type flow and all that with his stuff or whatever.
Right.
Sometimes I don't know because I feel like you got to know your market, and maybe like in the surrounding areas, if he was doing like shows, probably like people doing shows like in Shreveport, maybe Opelousas, maybe Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama. These places might like more of that southern type, gritty type sounding music, whatever. Maybe they might have different markets for them. Might be like more. I don't know. I think you got to just find your right market because some people music don't identify with certain markets and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think it's about that. That's why I feel like Superbad could do so good with her bounce music because she making music for where she from and they love it in this area. And then you go to getting shows, you getting booked, and then you go to getting booked in like Philly, Milwaukee, everywhere, off doing what you do in your city, but you just found a way to make it universal. So when you do a record like the song Meeting in My Bedroom, it's bouncy or whatever, but it got a universal sound because the sample too, and then Michael make the beat where everybody understand it, and now it's going outside it. So I think you got to know your market, and if you could get behind your market, get behind it, it's going to be easy. Sometimes I think it's just not resonating, I guess. And if it's not, and you probably feel like all the other things you got, like you said, the rapping, the money, the look, it might be something you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out because if these plays ain't working, it's something got to be done and looked at. And I think that's with anything in business. If it ain't working, look at it and try to adjust it. Or you probably just got to wait a little longer for everybody to catch on to what you're doing because maybe you might be ahead of your time.
See, tell me this. Do you think it's easier to market a local bounce artist than a local rap artist?
I still see.
Like
I don't.
Super bad.
Well,
compared to like marketing a youngin Styles.
Okay, like all right, I'm gonna go with Youngin and Superbad because I did work with them.
Right.
Youngin, Youngin rapped on, like, I remember he made, I think it was J Dog made a beat from him. He was rapping off this bounce beat or whatever. Excuse me. He was saying about, he had like fucking, the clip was like Mickey Mouse head, some shit I can't remember. But anyway, it was on a bounce beat and I'm like, damn, he could rap off these type of beats like how UNLV could do it, or Soulja Slim could do it, BG could do it on True Stories. And then you got a super bad that make bounce music, so she already making music for the city. Youngin knew how to make bounce records, and he could still make a hard street record, but it still have a New Orleans type sound. So I felt like he had everything or whatever that people like Soulja Slim, Juvenile, and all the greats embodied. That's what I felt like he was good at. He didn't look down on where he was from. He was like, I'm gonna embrace it, but I'm gonna do it my way. Or a lot of dudes be like, man, I ain't doing no bounce music because they gonna look at me a certain way or whatever. Only girls can make music like this. Only, Frida might make music like this or whatever. Like, no, dudes can make bounce music too. I think it's a stigma that they look down on it and hurt them, but I feel like Youngin was able to rap off a bounce beat, just do it in his way. Like BG could rap off a bounce beat and do it in his way. Right. The way Jubilee might do a bounce song is not how UNLV gonna do a bounce song, but we gonna still love them. Partners in Crime might do a bounce song the way they do it, but it's gonna be different from UNLV, but it's gonna all rock or whatever. Chopper Style made his song, so I feel like you gotta really know where you from. I look at your girl in Memphis, Gorilla. Right. And when she made that record, and Hit Kid grew up on DJ Squeaky and DJ Paul and DJ Juicy J, so that beats sound like some modern day Memphis shit or whatever. Right. And that's why the song blew up on TikTok, so they understand where they're from. Atlanta just make local music that the whole world love. It's trap music that they're making, but it's just the main music that they like in their city that influenced the whole world. So New Orleans got to make music that we love and the whole world can understand. That's all Cash Money did when he made Bounce Back to That stuff. Fresh said the world probably wasn't ready for that. Right. But they was wrong. Because Back to That Stuff was the single that changed 400 Degrees, because Hot came out first and it didn't do well. Right. 400, Back to That Stuff came out after, and that's the one that changed the album and made the sales go crazy.
The whole company.
I look at artists like Hot Sizzle, right? He was online. He was saying that a lot of his music was getting taken down because of samples. Bounce music used a lot of samples.
It is, definitely.
And now he got to make original music, and he's being attacked from these different sources. But I always wonder that, like, when you talk about art form and the use of the art, the freedom of it. You know what I'm saying? Like in these days and times, is there a way to stay independent without running into a lot of that? Like,
right, tape?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to run into, stuff like that, like I said. That's why when Manny Fresh said he did the Back to That Stuff beat, he was trying to do the things that he was hearing in the drag rap song in his own way. He'll try to make, all right, he'll probably, dog bark, he might try to do it in his voice and change it. Try to play the Trigger Man a little bit, his way will be a little different. So I think if Hot Sizzle or any artist that's doing it, try to still do it with the feel, but try not to use the samples if you don't want to pay. Because like you said, those people that created that original music, they want to be compensated for their creativity and their ideas, which they should be. And people been paying for it since the beginning of time. But if you want to try to find a way around it, you got to try to find a way to play it a little different. I remember Prince told the artist that they wanted to sample something. He said, I ain't gonna be able to clear it, but you got to do it. But you smart enough to find a way to do it, a little like me, but where you could get
Alicia
around
Keys.
It. So yeah, he was saying, I think that was the Alicia Keys stuff. I think he was saying or whatever. And she did that. So I think that they got to do it like that. Other than that, you gonna have to pay, bro.
Yeah, you got to pay for them samples.
Music is a lot of that. There's a lot of like real sample beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it's just most artists when they first make them songs, they ain't got no money, you hope it blow up.
But how DJs could do this shit?
Well, like I said, because a lot of them ain't really making money off. But when you go to selling that shit online, like Apple Music or where anybody can make money monetizing it, then they gonna find it. Even if it might not be right now, they gonna catch you on the back end because they got lawyers and people that's what they do. They just be out there trying.
We'll wait for that bitch to blow up.
Yeah, they just wait for it to get big. It's like the feds. The feds gonna let you do all these murders and all this killing. They gonna build that case, and once it's time, they gonna get you at the right time. So they gonna let that rat get fat. Right. And then they gonna get you. So
that's what happened with Hot Sizzle. The song took off.
Yeah.
Right.
Who knew? it took off.
Yeah, because the song was out for like 2 years or so.
Right.
It took a minute to blow.
Yeah, once they know it could be some money in it, and there's enough that, because you know when it ain't really nothing, people like I ain't really no money right now. I ain't fucking with the money.
Now he
like
everywhere
that.
with it.
But once it start getting big, then yeah, people gonna want they gonna want in or whatever.
My whole thing is why I take my shit down. Like I don't mind you eating off my shit. If you gonna eat off it,
It ain't yours.
But see, all of it might don't be. Some of them might say it's cool, but then they might have certain people on that record. I don't know the whole thing about the record, but it might be certain samples that ain't clear. Like you might say the part I took from you good, but he might have a part on the record that I got from him, and he probably say it ain't good. I don't know. So you got to just make sure all your dies out and all your T's crossed.
But this is what I'm asking. If I steal your record, right, remix it, whatever, and it's making millions of views, right? At what point should you say, I wanted to stop making a million, like stop making views, or take it down completely, which nobody make money off it, and it's obviously making money.
They still gonna get them.
But
you lost.
And then they still probably feel like they're not hurting. They probably like these conglomerates, so they got records like they do this shit all day.
Right.
So they like, we gonna just show you that we mean business. I think a lot of times people gotta show you it ain't about the money. It's about the principle.
The respect.
So we gotta just let people know that it's ways to do things, and if you doing business, this the music business. That's how we do it. We're gonna shut you down till you get right, just like a restaurant. If you ain't got all your paperwork and all that for the serve alcohol, we're gonna shut it down. Y'all ain't gonna sell alcohol. We ain't gonna let y'all make money off the dough and all that. No, we're gonna close the whole thing down till y'all get everything straight. Once y'all get everything up to code and we right, then we'll
put that bitch up again.
Back again, yeah.
Right.
But it gotta have some type of order and some type of structure. So that's
music industry 101. You know what I mean? How you you and say cheese. How that relationship is?
Well, like you said, it's good or whatever. You know, he let me come to his house and interview him in Dallas. And like I said, Sean Cotton always helped me out. I always shout him out, bro. I can't thank him enough because, like I said, he originally from East Arlington, where the Dallas Cowboys Stadium at. But he was born in Philly. I think he moved to Dallas I think he moved to Arlington. I think he said when he was like 8 or 7. So he really everything that really kind of shaped him really is.
Didn't he cover some Chicago artists?
Yeah, he covered.
He covered a lot of Chicago.
Yeah, he covered a lot of Chicago shit and all that. Him and your boy was real cool. Zach TV.
That's what I wanted to get at right quick.
Yeah, Zach TV.
How you feel about this? Like the Zach situation was so crazy. Like you think it was because of irresponsible media?
I don't know, and I know everybody was talking about that stuff around that time with the case, the girl and all that. And I don't know too much about it. Yeah, I don't know too much about it. I do remember seeing the pictures of her, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was that or just people could have been mad at him because he was working with certain people or interviewing certain people. I don't really know. I mean, I feel like I like what he was doing for the culture. I felt like I was glad that somebody from there was able to at least benefit off the media attention that they was getting, because everybody was trying to come in and interview all the Chicago artists at the time and get their story and it helped him get big, just as big as the directors, the producers like Chop, and even the artists like Dirk and Chief and so on. Just like if people like Ride 49 doing interviews with you, other people, other big artists in the city is going to help everybody helping everybody.
Right.
Just like when you go on Big Facts, you see
we
all these artists going Big Facts.
Right.
And off the porch. We say?
Me and him was just talking about that.
Yeah, you gotta do that because even with the dude, and I can't think of his name. I think it's called Hip Hop Labs in Detroit. He interviewed all the Detroit Lando. He interviewed all the Detroit artists. They tap in with him, and the bigger they get, the bigger they help him get because they keeping it in the family. It sounds good when people say that, but people gotta really practice what they preach because they run out to all the other people, but. You gotta really take care of home because home believed in you. Yeah. Home believed in you and home got behind you. Especially if now I ain't saying everybody at home support them, but for the ones that know who they are, that the hometown did love them and still support them, you should always come back and show love to where the people that love you at or whatever.
Right.
Because no matter what, like Fat Joe said, you can always come home. So I think that we gotta help one another. The producers, the artists, and the media outlets help build each other, and that can help us build an artist to tell other up-and-coming artist stories, because these major artists coming on our platforms doing stuff, sharing their stories, and now that's creating viewership. Right. And that's creating money for everybody. So now we could put the money back into the community. We could help one another out. We could do all kind of shit, but we keep
we on time? Now.
About 5 minutes.
All right. Perfect. Last thing I wanted you to talk about, bro, is the influx in this crime. Like, why you think I'm not gonna ask you what you think.
Right.
I'm gonna ask you what you think. I'm not gonna put it in I'm not gonna put it in no context.
Right.
I'm just gonna ask you, why you think we have so many murders this year?
Why do I think they have so many murders?
Yeah, how, cause like we have been good for a few. Like, what's so different now? You think that's the fire behind such conflict in the streets?
All right.
of
Well,
New Orleans.
the bad murder rates that I knew was like 93. We should have been like 393 murders, and 94 it was like 490 something. And then 2007 was a bad year too. Right now I think what is causing, because we leading the murder. We number one right now in the country, and it's just middle of the year. We in July right now. And Baltimore behind us. I think the pandemic had a lot to do with people being stressed out. I feel like across America, you see mass shootings, people killing all over, people wearing masks. There's more people masked up and all that now. I feel like the jobs, the stress, and then it always been, we've been though people was living in all the different parts of the city, but that's been over 15 years since Katrina. So that been there, but the crime then went down in certain parts for certain years. But right now, I think with the pandemic, a lot of shit then went up all across the country. They still standing on the big news platforms. And like I said, I think the jobs, and just
But
it's just so much.
But it seemed like all the jobs seem like everybody hiring, nobody want work.
That's the thing.
You got all these jobs begging for workers and jobs closing because they like the McDonald's, the Burger King on fucking Bullets was closed because they couldn't find workers.
Yeah, I think a lot of people pride they don't want to work certain job, but I don't think our employment rate that great in the country, or even just in New Orleans. Like people,
think about this. I ain't mean to cut you off, but before the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. I worked in the restaurant industry basically my whole life.
Yeah, me too.
Like I always worked in the restaurant industry. Motherfuckers was fighting for hours before the pandemic. Now, I could go work that same job making $3 more than I was making 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. You did, and nobody want to work. Like
I think a lot of people too been working from home too, but for wise the crime that's a different. So, but a lot of people been working for Uber Eats. They've been doing Lyft. A lot of people been working for call centers, like doing stuff like working at Verizon, working for Apple. Some people been starting their own business and stuff like that too. Right. So some people ain't going back to work for those reasons. But for wise the crime is definitely out of control.
But that's not the folks that's.
Yeah, that's not the people that's doing the crime. Right. So like I said, but I'm just saying that to say about why some people might not be going to those jobs. They might be having their own jobs, and they just making money other ways. Right. But for the people that's just want to wreak havoc on the streets, and a lot of stuff be stemming from beef, from years and years and all that. A lot of stuff be could be over people tapping into people drug neighborhoods and saying you stepping on my toes, because that always been stuff even throughout fucking the gangsters in Chicago with the mafia and all that. So I think it's gonna always breed stuff like that.
Right now, I think they're trying to wipe out the middle class. Mm-hmm. The price of everything, the whole world. It don't matter what it
ridiculous.
is.
I was saying that, man.
You think that might be stressing out the people?
Of course, they're stressing out. People gotta have money. They fighting over people fighting over crumbs. Yeah,
it's a lot of families.
You got more guns, less people.
Right.
You did.
You got more guns,
less opportunity. If you have less people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's not a lot to do. And then, like you said, I mean, some people say it could be the leadership or whatever. I heard the council people talking the other day, were saying when these police be going out to certain crimes, they could be sending other people out there for like minor car accidents and stuff like that. Police could be out there. We don't have enough police. They don't have, like I said, a lot of jobs. Some people don't feel safe, and it's not a lot of hope. When I was young, I mean, we had I'm gonna just say this right quick. They had a lot of like stuff. I remember in the East, they used to have like little summer camps, and like where the whole East is being like people playing potato sack racing with the gym, and Joe Brown playing basketball. They got little stands outside the little ice cream machines, like giving us free stuff. Like, but we end up doing something productive for the summer. These little dudes don't even have nothing because everybody don't want to play football. Right. But it's something that they like. When Nipsey was trying to do those STEM centers where they could do science and little programs, they need stuff like that because everybody don't want to play football for Northern basketball. Right. They got to think about those kids too.
And North do have those programs, but they
don't be popularized. It seems like.
But it's just that like you might have a football season that start in August and end in November. Right. But the STEM program might start in July and end in August. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's just window. Like a 1 month program that they might run a 2 month program, but it's not something like a 6 month program where you go to STEM every day or something like that. So they're more dedicated to the bigger sports than it is the intellectual. Yeah,
because it's about money and all that stuff like that.
But I would think the intellectual sports would bring in some bread by the being,
Yeah.
like on the grant side, I would think they would want to invest more into that side. Or I think they just don't know how to market it.
I think it's like I said, anywhere you got, like I said, bro, a lot of poor people, and like I said, people already poor in New Orleans, already a poor state in Louisiana, on top of, like I said, some people not having jobs, rent going up, gas going up, food high, people, baby mamas could be going off on them, man, you ain't got nothing new. People feel like they're on edge, whatever. Right. And then if some people probably using drugs, mixing all that together is disaster. Right. So and then you got people creating feuds and this one want this person in this song and they going back and forth because they might be influenced by what they see in Chicago and that culture bleeding. So there's a lot of things. I can't really say one thing.
Right.
That really
thing.
Is a lot of things. A gumbo of things, right? And there's a bad gumbo.
Yeah.
I just hope I hope we could build some type of positive reform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To kind of I know you can't stop everything because with all these different situations, it's not about stopping it, but it's mostly about building an environment where it can't happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you do that, I think it kind of makes shit not. You know what I'm saying? Like shit only acceptable and fucked up shit only acceptable in fucked up environment.
I just think it's all about hope, bro. I just think if people have that hope and they feel like it's something that they could, like, a lot of times them dudes just don't have nothing to dream about, or nobody like believing them and telling they could do something and all that. So all they know is the people that's around them that's destructive, and they're around a bunch of people that's into that shit, so that's what they into. But if they got more positive dudes or older dudes trying to that they probably respect and telling them like, man, you could do this, and really showing them, they gonna start doing different stuff and whatever, and they gonna start loving each other like how we probably did in the 60s where black people had to go through all that shit. Churches being bombed, people being beat down, dogs being sicked on them, where they had to stick together. And it was like, man, I can't hate you. We in this shit together.
Right.
We gotta love one another. We gotta look at each other like, man, we could help each other more than we can hurt each other. I'm not hating on you because you got a podcast. I'm not hating on this man because he got a studio and he doing whatever. I'm glad for him. We get more of them. And then the quality of the music could go up, the quality of the media could go up, the quality of video directors, and all this, everybody helping everybody instead of everybody tearing each other down.
Right.
And that could even be in the streets too. So if we just spread some love and some positive energy every day or whatever and all that, it might start changing people's minds. But it's going to start with the people like us, pushing this type of narrative instead of always people pushing negativity to try to get views. I don't really care about that. I want something to be like when nigga not here no more, be like, these dudes stood for something good. Like, it's a little different because they was here.
Right. So. Right. Dog, I appreciate you coming through. You
definitely
really
smart.
Represent.
Thank
you.
He like this dude is really like top tier representative of New Orleans media, and I get mad. And this is something we didn't really get to get into, but I get mad at other. Like he's so fucking cool, dog.
Yeah, you can't come at him.
But I get mad at everybody else. You heard me? And I just get mad at a lot of motherfuckers because they don't be original. And the way he handled media and shit, he handled the spicy shit. He handled all that shit with a real responsibility. And you stand on
class act.
And you stand on everything that you see.
What you got? What you working on? What you got up next?
Well, right now, like I said, I'm trying. I might be trying to do Off the Porch soon. Probably go to Atlanta and do that soon, whatever. Probably this summer. Like I said, just trying to build my Instagram back up, man, and try to probably start getting back into more interviews, because when my page got deleted, it kind of like took a lot of the fight out of me.
What the hell are y'all doing while all y'all keep losing your page?
Yeah, man, Instagram becoming so sensitive, so it just really hurt. And but I looked at it like when people get in a bad car accident, they probably lose. I mean, you kind of got to learn how to walk again. They got to take time to do that. If somebody been in jail all these years and lose time, and they got to rebuild their life, how I'm gonna cry about an Instagram page? I just got to get back in there, dust myself off, and start it over and just keep working. So I think God put us through a lot of stuff like that to just see how bad we want it. So it's just a test, but I'm gonna keep trying to build it up, try to keep some more interviews coming and all that. And I'm just really picky about how I do it, because I like to have great conversations. I enjoy this conversation with y'all because this was some great dialogue.
Dog,
he on the streets.
Dog. I just want to thank you, bro.
And both of us love Tupac too, so I just want
we both love Pac.
Right.
I ain't listen to Biggie until 2001.
Damn, well that sucked.
Yeah,
Biggie too,
I didn't listen to Biggie until I heard Renegade. Me and my partner was working at Sonic, and made me listen to Renegade, and I'm like, oh, this nigga Jay-Z different.
Right.
What the fuck? And I fell in love with Jay-Z. And then I was like, man, let me listen to some Biggie now.
Yeah.
And then I like, damn, this nigga was fucking dope, son.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
I guess that's like why I always like the Jay-Z too, just to end it on this, is because Jay-Z always had that laid back, cool demeanor, and I seen a lot of myself in his. So even when I was younger, I was drawn to him even before he became the Jay-Z he is now. I always did like him, like, man, this dude cool and laid back, even though DMX was like that nigga in 98 in New York.
Jay-Z felt like Biggie and Pac to me. He felt like he had the poeticness of Pac, where he could explain some shit like Donald Goins and shit, and he had the lyrical miracle shit of Biggie. And that's what made him. He was almost like a baby of them too to me. And then I was like, man, this nigga is fucking.
And Jay-Z got that conversational flow, like
he came out when they died.
Yeah,
like he really arrived.
We was talking about that too. We was just saying that
out of the ashes of Biggie and Tupac.
We was saying that, dog. We was saying that the other day too. We was saying that when Pac died, it's like he had the game on lock, and when Pac died, it's like the South went to rising because you get Master P and all. So if Pac would have still been around and Biggie, who knows if they would have still been able to have that impact that they had with Pac right there, because Pac was so much of a control on the game. He had it on lock. So I don't know,
dog.
Yeah, without
God
them two,
makes
might
no
not be no
mistakes.
Jay.
He gives life. He takes life.
He was
away.
dissing the whole New York. He was coming at everybody that was fucking with Biggie or whatever. You was aligned with him. He was coming at you, and Pac was so powerful and strong, and Death Row was so powerful at that time.
Then they was about to go to New York and take over.
Yeah, because they had the Outlaws riding with him and all at the Death Row East or whatever. So like you said, man, ain't nobody. I mean, we'll never know, but we do know that it was definitely different when Pac and Biggie was here, and you know, if we don't know if the South would have had the same impact. They probably would still eventually came, but at that moment, I don't know if Pac and them would have still been there because they had the game on lock. New York and the West Coast.
Make sure y'all hit the like, subscribe, drop a comment.
And this is Benjamin's Room, episode 14. Live Music Box Studio. I'm Benjamin KP and GDP Speaks. And we out.
Thank y'all.